first of all, thank you for the opportunity of speaking. My name is Margaret DeBoer, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Phelps Park Neighborhood Association. So I have several sheets of people conceding units, but I will keep it as brief as possible.
Okay, and could you please tell us your address?
Sure. 1748 Pine Avenue.
Okay, and you're speaking for several people, so you're combining their minutes with yours,
Correct.
as I understand. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I reside there with my fiance, Stan Lineberger, who's conceding his minutes to me. And the first point I really would like to recognize is that we do support a small neighborhood Y. It's not that we're against a YMCA being in our neighborhood, but we're really addressing the comprehensive plan and the rezoning that they're asking for to really maintain the character that is in our neighborhood. The Y's lawyer, Mr. Hamer, stated in a letter that we actually found offensive that only a few local opponents don't even live by the Y. Well, the Y is in my backyard. And today, I feel like our neighborhood is trapped in the movie The Groundhog Day, as Jeff Briggs mentioned earlier. Since we do have to address this, it seems, over and over again. Maybe not in the last 50 years, but certainly in a number of times in the last several years. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Y. The last time we were here, they stated they needed to expand because of financial hardship, and they needed to drive membership. They stated membership had declined to about 6,000. In a recent letter from their lawyer, we learned that membership was up, representing 34% of Winter Park's residents, equaling about 9,500. Wow. In this economy, they have had tremendous growth. Congratulations. You did this all without the additional pool and parking that you wanted the last time. Now, if the city was really concerned about driving revenue, they would join other communities across the U.S. who are questioning the nonprofit status of the Y. Because let's face it, the Y, for all intents and purposes, is a private club. It is not a church where the doors are open to anyone, whether you make a donation or not. They charge for services, and only their members can use those services. So we even question the rezoning to institutional, because they're really a business, open 7 days a week, which means traffic. And yes, maybe more parking would ease traffic, but more parking would actually add to more cars going through our neighborhood to seek that parking. The buffer that they're proposing does not screen the noise or the additional lights that we're going to see from our backyard. And the buffer that they're actually proposing now around the park would actually block some people's views of having that park. Recently, the Y sent out an email communication to their membership. And believe it or not, some of their members actually support our cause and forwarded it to us. In that communication, it said, "Dear members, as many of you know, we are in the process of completing our planned utilization of the rest of our property to enhance our service to our most important constituents, you, our members. As you can see, contrary to what they stated the last time, these two residential properties in question were purchased as an investment, and it was all along part of their strategic plan. Where is the penalty from them breaking the agreement the last time? If I were to cut a tree down without permission, I would get hit by a penalty faster than I could blink an eye. The simple fact is, why have any of these agreements or codes if it's only just for some? Also, how can you recommend having this but not that as part of an agreement? You first really have to deal with your comprehensive plan and the rezoning. What is going to stop them from violating any more codes or purchasing any more properties? Will you in fact enforce the current violation or any future violation?
My name is John Crash. I live at 1050 North Lakeland. I'm married. That's my wife, Louise. And We live immediately across from the YMCA. Bought the home in 1991 when there was a small YMCA, a small family YMCA that was just part of the neighborhood. What I was about to talk about, I see that my neighbors are covering, and I don't want to, as you've asked, not duplicate efforts and take time. But I did hear that a lot about considering the why and the needs of the why. And there's an entire neighborhood on Phelps, Palmer, Lakeland, and Pine, and even behind, that are affected by this. That Mr. Hamner said that except for a few vocal opponents, many of who don't live in the immediate vicinity, that's just not, it's incorrect. There's a lot more people that oppose this than what you may see, you may hear. And I hand delivered several letters I'm sure you all received from the Zimmermans, from myself, and from the Turners. In regard to the 900 signatures that have been mentioned, I question where these people live, because, you know, it's okay to pick up signatures for somebody if you have a clipboard sitting on a desk and you say, hey, we sign our signature to expand. If they don't live next door, or if they don't live nearby, but they're not affected by car horns, burglar alarms, screeching tires, thumping radios, if they're not affected by that, I mean, I don't know that any of you folks on this board here live near an institution that has all this going on all day long. And I'm just trying to ask that you consider the residents. I mean, everybody's asking that you consider the why, or I should say, they're all asking for that you consider the residents, because this is something they put up with day in and day out. And all we're asking is, you know, people could say times change, things change, but an agreement and a developer's agreement is supposed to protect. I mean, that decision back then was made based on what the Y said. We won't expand anymore, we won't buy adjacent properties, and that's why they were given the go-ahead and the permits to do what they did. So this is not a small matter for us that live next, you know, live clear by. It's a very serious matter that we've written about, we revisit every few years, and we're just hoping that you all think about us as you make your decisions.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Cassie Hill. I live at 1030 North Lakemont. My husband and I have been Winter Park residents for 2.5 years. We have 3 small children. One just turned 4. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old. One of the reasons that we were drawn into the Winter Park community was for the community aspects that it provides for our children. That would include the YMCA, Phelps Park, Ward Park, all of those things that enabled me to do things with my children. We're a single car family, and so to have those things within walking distance from me and my children, that was a very big deal. Having a community pool that I could take my children to was one of the biggest appeals when we chose the house at 1030 North Lakemont. As we have become members of the Y and gotten involved in the community there, I'm very active in training as a triathlete, so I use the lap pool on a regular basis. And I've attempted, on many attempts, to take my children swimming in that pool. And I found it to be unsafe. During the peak hours of the day, that 9 to 12, when those young families are there using the Y, there are group exercise classes, there are lap swimmers, and for a good portion of the morning, the children are regulated to the deep end of the pool. So that third of the third that we were talking about earlier isn't even the shallow end a good portion of the morning. And so to have an area that I can take my children that is safe is a very big deal to me. And that affects how I can be a part of my Y community and a part of my Winter Park community. I know that it was brought up that those pools at the Winter Park Community Center are available. But again, as a mother of 3 very small children, I don't have enough hands to take all 3 of my children. So the Y provides a service to me that they can take 1 or 2 of my small children while I can work on swimming with my older child or my 2 older children. And that's a service that I cannot get from the Winter Park Community Pool.
Hi, my name is Faye Register, and I live at 2322 Sierra Lane in Maitland, and I am a member of the Winter Park Y. And I'm here tonight is because the Y is making a huge difference in my life. I have a disability, it's cerebral palsy. Because of the Y, I can go there and exercise and get help using the machines and different things that I wouldn't be able to do by myself. And when I found out that they wanted to build a pool that was going to be a pool that someone like myself could get in without assistance, I was blown away, because I grew up with a disability and I know how to ask for help. I'm really good at it too. I ask for help when I need it. But one of the things that just blew me away was that I would have the opportunity to get in a pool by myself. And I don't know if you kind of understand what that means, but it's about dignity. When you have a disability, or when I have a disability, I can only speak for myself. Like I said, I have no problem asking for help. But to be able to get into a pool and not have to have somebody, lift me in or help me walk down the stairs to get in or help me get out. And to be able to have that freedom and preserve that dignity for myself would be an awesome opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, the committee, good evening. Thank you for your time. I know there are places you'd rather be, and I appreciate y'all giving us the time to speak and let you know how we feel. My name is Jerry Daniels. I live at 1770 Shawnee Trail in Maitland. I was born and raised in Winter Park. To give you a sense of my perspective, Mr. Hamner referred to someone who spent some time in one of those homes on Palmer, and that is me, because I'm the child of well-intentioned parents who thought I might be a guitar player. The guitar lessons didn't go so well, but I took guitar lessons in one of those homes, and as a consequence, I ended up going to law school as a fallback. Speaking of lawyers, also, is every fiber of my being wants to rebut every comment opposed to the Y, but I won't do that out of respect to you all. And I will do my best to limit it to really one, what I think is a very important point. I was a board member of the Y at the time they acquired the 2 lots. And so I think my insight into the decisions is very important. There's been a lot of nasty remarks referring to probably our board as being brazen in their move. But the intentions of that board, I think, are important. First, the board, as you all are is made up of volunteers. These are people who are citizens of Winter Park and the surrounding community who love the Y and they love this community. And so their desires and their reasons for purchasing those lots was well-intentioned. I can assure you all of that. It was not a corporate edict brought down from on high. It was a decision by well-intentioned parents and citizens in this community. So, as Mr. Hammer has done, I would apologize to those who were offended by the actions, and certainly, we did not intend to upset anyone with that. The intentions really were to use those properties to expand the parking in the pool as we presented and proposed. And the purpose is to help this community, to provide a better service to the children and families in this community, and to further ourselves as weaving ourselves into this fabric of Winter Park. That, as others have pointed out, there's an intangible quality to this community, a sense of community, and the Y is a big part of that. And a part of the reason for that is because the intentions of the volunteers who work at the Y are to benefit this community and not to do harm to those around us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.